866-5555. Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Monday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. A Monday night after the National Football League draft. 9 new Jacksonville Jaguars on the roster and a brand new veteran free agent that signed last night along the defensive line. We'll certainly spend pretty much the entirety tonight talking about the NFL draft, the recap of what the Jaguars did. We got some guests coming up that'll give you a little insight into some of these players, and we'll really have that throughout the week here on Hacker After Dark. It will begin this evening as we will go up to the state of West Virginia tonight at some point. Coach Brad Dingus of a high school football program there in West Virginia, where Wyatt Milm, the offensive lineman from West Virginia, the third-round pick, played his high school football. Coach will come on to talk about Wyatt. He's known Wyatt for 4+ years. Really cool story about Wyatt becoming the first NFL draft pick ever from that small town in West Virginia. The excessive blocking penalty that was in the movie The Blind Side, that's real, apparently, because according to Coach, Wyatt got a couple of those excessive blocking penalties when he was in high school there in West Virginia. So Jaguar fans, I think you'll enjoy that conversation with Coach Brad Dingus, Wyatt Milum's high school football coach. That comes up later on in the program tonight. Also, Brian Newberry, the head coach of the Naval Academy, Navy football, as we'll talk about Rayon Lane, the safety, the 6th-round draft pick out of the Naval Academy. We'll have Coach Newberry on to talk about Lane, what he brings to the table. Had a couple of people tell me today that if Lane wasn't a member of a military academy, if he played in the Power 4 or for a non-military entity, he might have been a 5th or even a 4th-round pick. They thought the Jaguars got excellent value in round 6. So Brian Newberry, the head coach of the Naval Academy, will join us later on tonight, as will Ryan Roberts, one of my draft guys for years, A2ZSports.com. We'll start with Travis Hunter. We'll go down all the way to the center from USC Mannheim, and we'll break down each of the Jaguar draft picks with Ryan Roberts of A2ZSports.com. That comes up later on here on Hacker After Dark. Every night on HAD, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
You know, there were a lot of highlights for me when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars and draft weekend, but let me tell you a personal highlight, but it paints a broader picture. So my mom is not exactly what you would call a diehard football fan. She is interested enough because I am, obviously, and this is what I've been doing for well over half of my life, sports radio. So she'll ask me questions. She knows, obviously, who Trevor Lawrence and the big names are. So on Saturday, my mom sends me a text, and she says, "Hey, hope you're doing well. Was just curious how the Jags are doing." So my response was, well, they're looking to bring in intangibly rich people into their ecosystem. My mom's response to that was, "Have you been drinking?" with a giant question mark. No, Mom, I haven't been drinking. That's what the Jaguars are looking to do. I'm just talking about James Gladstone and what he's told us time after time after time. They're looking to bring intangibly rich people into their ecosystem. And after conversations I've had in the last 24, 48 hours, from the Naval Academy to Auburn to the state of West Virginia and all points in between, and you'll hear a lot of those conversations in the coming days, I think they did bring a lot of intangibly rich people into their ecosystem like General Manager James Gladstone wanted. Will that translate to wins and losses on the field? I don't know. Got to wait till September to find that out. But I like what they did. I like what they did a lot. I think you look at this draft class, they added a potential all-world game changer in Travis Hunter. Wyatt Milm from West Virginia, to me, is going to be one of your starting offensive linemen sooner rather than later. Tootin, the running back from Virginia Tech, was the fastest running back in the draft class. Jack Kaiser is just a good, solid football player. Caleb Ransaw is the guy that really came on during Senior Bowl week, and a lot of people like him. You go on down the line to Jaylen Mloud from Auburn. The guy had 8 sacks in the Southeastern Conference last year. I'll take that, right? We talk about Ray Lane from Navy. The guy's from the Naval Academy. He's one of the team leaders. How much more intangibly rich can you get than that? The running back from Syracuse, LaQuint Allen, same thing. Coaches up there rave about him. And I talked about Monheim from USC. The guy played basically every position along the offensive line during his time at Southern Cal. I'm going to be like every other media person in the country right now on the Monday after the draft. The team we cover. Yeah, they did a great job. Because I do think the Jaguars did a great job. But so does every other person that covers every other team in every other market. The difference this year here in Jacksonville is that we kind of know the identity of the team. We didn't know the identity of the team under Dave Caldwell. I don't think we knew the identity of the team under Trent Baalke. But we know the identity of the team in 2 months on the job with James Gladstone. Intangibly rich people to bring into the ecosystem. So no, Mom, I wasn't drinking. I was just quoting the brand new general manager verbatim. And I think that brand new general manager had one hell of an opening weekend with his first NFL draft here with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, the big story was Travis Hunter, right? We did get some clarity on that on Friday. By the way, if you missed our conversation with Travis Hunter's high school football coach on Friday, I know a lot of people were probably watching the draft live. We did have the high school coach of Travis Hunter, Coach Swick up in the state of Georgia. He will join us coming up. We'll make a replay of that later on Hacker After Dark. I thought he gave some really good insights into Travis, into the 4 years he played high school ball. We talked about the whole Florida State recruitment and how he ended up going to Jackson State at the last minute. Talked about when he knew Travis was going to be a special player. Again, Jaguar fans, I think you'll enjoy that conversation with Drew Swick, Travis Hunter's high school coach. That comes up towards the 9 o'clock hour tonight on Hacker After Dark. But it all starts and stops with Travis Hunter. And I, for the life of me, don't understand the narrative. And I talked about this on Friday. Respected people in the national media keep telling me that the Cleveland Browns pulled a coup on the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? Did a great job. Cleveland won the trade hands down. Well, we have a lot of clarity from the trade now between Jacksonville and Cleveland. In fact, the only thing that we don't know is the first-round pick outcome in 2026, and we're not going to know that until, obviously, December or January at the earliest. But as it stands right now, here is what the Cleveland Browns got. Here is what the Jacksonville Jaguars got in the trade. Cleveland acquired Mason Graham with that 5th overall pick. The 36th pick, they acquired Quinshon Judkins, running back from Ohio State. And they got Dylan Sampson, the running back from Tennessee, in the 4th round. Jacksonville, in the trade, got Travis Hunter from Colorado, Tootin, the running back from Virginia Tech, and Lane, the safety from Navy. So Hunter, Tootin, and Lane for the Jaguars, Graham, Judkins, and Sampson for Cleveland. And again, the only outlier still is that 2026 first-round pick. Does it sound like Cleveland pulled a coup on Jacksonville? Does it sound like Cleveland won that trade? I think at absolute worst, you can say both teams won the trade. But what I'm going to personally get a very big kick out of, because I think this is going to happen, and maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but I don't think Jacksonville was as bad as their 4-13 record would indicate this past year. I told you guys that. I don't think Liam Cohen and James Gladstone thought that either. I think they were in the top 5. They wanted to take advantage of being in the top 5. Do I think they're going to win the Super Bowl next year? No. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? I don't know. There's more of a conversation there. But I got all these people telling me Cleveland acquired a top 10 pick from Jacksonville in 2026. I don't think so. I think if Cleveland's lucky, if they're lucky, that pick will be in the top 15. I'm thinking it's going to be more in the high teens, low 20s realm. Which at that point, if Cleveland gets a pick in the low 20s, based on the names I just read to you, did Cleveland win the trade? I don't know. You look at the 6 players that were drafted with those draft picks this past weekend, there's no doubt Travis Hunter is the best player among the 6. And if you got the best player in that trade, don't you win the trade by default? But again, I think it's one of those rare instances where Cleveland media, fans, etc., can look and say, yeah, I think we probably won that trade. Whereas people down here, like myself, can look at Jacksonville's thought and perspective on it and realistically say, yeah, I think we won that trade. It will be interesting to see how it all plays out. We're going to talk all Jaguars all the time. We'll mix in a little NBA playoff scoreboard, a little NHL playoff scoreboard as well. Speaking of that, the Lightning and the Panthers, the battle in the state of Florida, Game 4 in the first round. Panthers lead the series 2-1. The home team has not won a game in this series. That game is scoreless in the second period. The Miami Heat have officially quit. They lost by 37 in Game 3 to Cleveland. The Cavaliers took a 3-0 lead in that series. Game 4 going on right now. Miami needs to win to keep their season alive. Cleveland's up 46-17. 46-17 in a win or go home for Miami. Miami's gone home already. They're already in Cozumel. They're already getting ready to go to Cancun. That's ridiculous. Cleveland up 29 with 10 minutes to go in the first half. I guess if it warrants, we'll keep you updated. But if Miami doesn't want to play, why should we want to keep you updated on that product? But if they come back for whatever reason, we will certainly let you know. Coming up next, we're going to start with Travis Hunter. And we're going to go down every single draft pick the Jacksonville Jaguars made. Thoughts, analysis with a guy I've had on for years. It's almost a rite of passage. The Monday after the draft, my buddy Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com. I think he's one of the best. He's fair. He can be tough with some of his analysis, and some of his analysis will be tough on some of the draft picks Jacksonville made, but I think you'll find his analysis fair. Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com, joins us next on a Monday night here in Jacksonville, Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark till 10 o'clock on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
This is the place Jags fans turn to every day for news, analysis, and inside stuff. 1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
What a Guggen this will be. If you and a friend would like to play in this year's Coastal Equipment Guggen Open Golf Tournament May 19th at Hidden Hills Golf Club, text Guggen to the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010 for your chance to win.
He just got a hole-in-one.
Score a hole-in-one and win an Atlantic Infiniti SUV. ET makes a putt, you win lunch at Twin Peaks, a Chick-fil-A breakfast, and a Dandy Foods lunch. Thanks to our sponsors, Injury Care Centers, Kingfish Pest Control, and Valor Roofing.
Hey, I've got that craving again. How about some Mr. Chubby's wings?
Have you had the Chubby style wings? Grilled to perfection with Chubby's secret seasoning.
You know I have. They are so delicious. I swear you can't find anywhere in town with better wings and better prices on drinks.
So many different specials each night, too. Well, I'm ready to chub it up again.
Me too.
See all their specials at MrChubby'sWings.com. Locations on Fleming Island, the West Side, and now Ponte Vedra Beach. Mr. Chubby's Wings. Before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Give us your hot take.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
On the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm awake and I speak English, so yeah, I do know what you're saying.
Be part of the conversation. 641-1010.
Hey, this is Coach Jason Gibson of your Jacksonville Sharks. I know the importance of a strong game plan, and that's exactly what I've got with Clay Solar Installation Partners. They did the install of the solar panels at my house, and I couldn't be happier. Lower energy bills, clean power, and a winning team that made the whole process easy. If you're looking to save money and go solar, trust the pros at Clay Solar. Call Karen at Clay Solar today and tell them that Coach Gibson sent you.
Spring is in the air. Time to wake up your lawn with Heroes Lawn Care. Say goodbye to pesky mosquitoes with their organic and spray treatments. Perfect for outdoor fun. Keep your lawn clean and fresh with their pet waste removal for homes and businesses. Heroes Lawn Care takes care of it all. From mowing, edging, fertilizer, to irrigation, and much more. Visit heroeslawncare.com.
Spring has sprung, and so have the bugs. It's Hayes Carline and my friends at Kingfish Pest Control offer an exclusive $99 spring special. That's right, your initial pest control service is just $99. And if you call today, they'll include a free one-time mosquito treatment. Kingfish Pest Control is family-owned, 5-star rated with no binding contracts, and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call them now to book your service. Only at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Triumph has branched off from on-road to off-road. Give us the latest on what they've got.
They have. They've got the 250 and the 450. Rick Carmichael designed these bikes himself, and they are bad to the bone.
So you're talking about a really cool effect from a bike off-road that Triumph had on-road forever.
It is, and it's out there winning races, and it is fun to ride.
Check it out, Cycles of Jacksonville, their showroom on Atlantic near Regency, or online on their Facebook page.
Hey, Hicken here. Tired of glasses or contacts? Discover customized vision solutions at Bowden Eye & Associates. Dr. Bowden's team offers cutting-edge options like Evo implantable Collamer lenses or refractive lens exchange and classic LASIK, designed to fit your life. Picture perfect vision for reading, driving, or just enjoying the day. It's easier than you think. Call now for your free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins. Fighting for your rights since 1975.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The NFL draft in the rearview mirror. The Jaguars selected 9 players in this year's draft class. Of course, the headliner is the Heisman Trophy winner, Travis Hunter, who the Jaguars traded up for on Thursday night. Let's get Ryan Roberts of A2ZSports.com. Let's get his thoughts on everything that transpired in Green Bay, Wisconsin when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ryan's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Ryan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, brother. Doing all right. We're just kind of trudging along, finishing out some of the, the recap stuff for the weekend and moving on to 2026, man. It never stops.
Yeah, I asked you if you've decompressed at all. You said, no, I did a full 2026 mock draft this morning. I mean, you've already turned the page, correct?
We have. I mean, it's kind of necessary in this business because unfortunately we're about to get into kind of that dead period of like no football happening, right? So like we still have to keep talking about stuff, but it's yeah, man, it is something that I thoroughly enjoy though. I know it kind of sounds like, tedious or just kind of insane, like a kind of psycho behavior, but I do enjoy kind of moving on to the next class pretty quickly.
Well, let's talk about what the Jaguars did, and let's begin with Travis Hunter. Ryan, I had you on a bunch in the last 3 or 4 months. I don't think I ever asked you about Travis Hunter because I didn't think it was an option for Jacksonville at 5. They make a huge trade up to 2 to take the Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, your reaction to the trade and what the Jaguars got with Travis Hunter?
I mean, I was pretty shocked, to be honest. I mean, leading up to the draft, there was all the conversation points about Ashton Genty and whether that would just be the guy at number 5 to Jacksonville. And funny enough, the guy that we talked about constantly was Mason Graham going at number 5. He did end up going at number 5 just to a different team altogether, which was kind of hilarious when you just kind of look back at it. But I will say this. I think that it was a gutsy trade to give up that much and move up for that type of capital, because obviously trading up into the top 2 overall and giving up that much is pretty unorthodox and a little bit rare for a non-quarterback. So it's a little bit of a just kind of different worlds that you're living in there, trading up for a player like a Travis Hunter, who's, a very unique player, obviously in a lot of different ways. But I do applaud the staff, and we'll see how it turns out long term, but I do applaud the staff for simply, Gladstone and Liam Cohen. They made a statement very early on in their tenure, obviously. Clearly, Travis Hunter was a guy that they love, and I do applaud the emphasis to try to put playmakers around your quarterback, right? I think that Trevor Lawrence has a lot of upside. We've talked about him several times in the past, but I do think that him with Brian Thomas now, with Travis Hunter, you can't argue that this team is trying to do their best to surround a player like Trevor Lawrence with as much talent as humanly possible and trying to get the best out of him, and hopefully that he's able to take his game to the next level. So it's a little bit of a gamble. Obviously, we're giving up that much, but Travis Hunter is, whether you think he's the first best player in this past draft, or you think he's second, there is no question that he is one of the most rare athletes that we have ever seen come in the draft. There's not, I just have personally never seen, I've seen guys that have been able to play both sides of the ball, like Champ Bailey could play wide receiver if he wanted to, Deion Sanders likewise. But there aren't any players, in my lifetime at least, that could have legitimately been top 10 NFL draft picks at both corner and wide receiver. Obviously, in this situation, you assume that he's going to be playing a lot more receiver than corner.
Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com. It looks like receiver is where he's going to start. You mentioned they're going to mix him in at corner as well. I mean, Ryan, is that physically possible to do? And it's interesting because we've obviously been talking a ton about Travis Hunter in the last couple of days here. I didn't even contemplate this, but 2 years at Colorado, obviously the elevation out there for the home games. He played 100-plus plays out there in college. I mean, obviously he's back at sea level here in Jacksonville, so I guess it is physically possible. We've never seen anybody do it, yet it appears that's the direction Jacksonville's going. They're going to give Travis a shot to play pretty significant snaps at both spots.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating because I think the number was like 113.9, I think is what I said, of like total snaps per game last year for Colorado, which is just, it's absurd. I mean, and so my reasonable mind says that can't be replicated on the NFL level. Like, things are bigger, faster, stronger. Like, that's going to be very hard to be able to have someone take that wear and tear on their body for 17 games, hopefully more in a season. So I find it very unlikely. I think that the most likely scenario is, because I don't think you're trading up to number 2 for Travis unless he's going to play mostly wide receiver. I think that the most likely, and what I think it will end up being, is that he's your starting receiver, and there's probably some type of dime nickel package where he's going to come in and he's going to be a guy in like the biggest high leverage situations, whether that's in the end of halves, big moments in the football game, game tying, potential game tying drives, like those types of things. I think he's going to be more of a high leverage defender is kind of what I anticipate seeing. So whether that's 10, 15-ish snaps a game, I kind of think that that's probably more in line with for the expectation. I just personally find it very hard to believe that somebody's going to play 50-plus snaps a game on both sides of the football every single week. Like, it just seems very unlikely. So predictive hat out, I think full-time wide receiver and some special dime nickel packages to be able to get him on the field in probably the most crucial situations in the game.
No, I would tend to agree with that. Quickly with Travis when it comes to offense, I mean, the idea of Brian Thomas Jr. on one side and Travis Hunter on the other with Trevor Lawrence throwing them the football has a lot of people here in Jacksonville, Ryan, salivating. I mean, what's your thought there?
Yeah, I mean, and it should. I mean, he is a dynamic athlete, and he's a lot different than Brian Thomas, which is good. I mean, when you're talking about like diversity of a wide receiver room, I think that is very important. Brian Thomas is obviously the height, weight, speed freak who's going to win outside the numbers and win down the field. Travis is much more Z receiver, can move inside the slot. You can motion him around. You can get him touches in a lot of different ways, but he also is able to create explosive plays down the field as well. So I think their skill sets really match well together, and I do think that the fact that, because here's the thing, like, small tidbit is that, like, Travis Hunter's been asked to do so much on the college level that he isn't fully developed as a wide receiver, obviously. Like, there's still route running nuance and different things that still need to get better. The fact that you have Brian Thomas Jr. that's going to take some of that target off of Travis's back a little bit, I think that's going to be huge for them. So I imagine that their skill sets are going to play really well off one another.
Couple more for Ryan Roberts of A2ZSports.com, recapping the Jaguars draft class. All right, on Friday night in round 3, Caleb Ransaw from Tulane. It looks like primarily corner in college. I think the idea here, Ryan, is going to be a safety at the next level. Also, Wyatt Milm, who a lot of people here are very excited about, the big offensive lineman from West Virginia. Let's begin with Caleb Ransaw. Your thoughts there, and do you think he could translate to safety at the next level?
Yeah, I think he's going to have to be honest, because he's an interesting player. He was at Troy before he ended up at Tulane this past year, and he played mostly nickel, obviously, the last 2 seasons. He is a very aggressive player. Like, they would blitz him off the slot a ton. He's a really good blocker. He ran fast, so he's got that explosiveness to him as well. But he's a very downhill, aggressive football player. And there were some moments, especially at Tulane this past year, where he would give up some stuff in the passing game just because they would kind of work off of his over-aggressive nature. So I just think safety is probably ideal for him. And he could be a little bit of a Swiss Army knife, ultimately. Like, I think you can get him down to the box. I think you can play him in the slot at times in certain looks. I think that you can blitz him off the slot a ton. He is one of those energizer dudes on the back end of the defense that can do a lot of different things. I just think that for a defensive staff to get the most out of him, you're going to have to ring him back a little bit. Like, he's explosive. He knows it. He likes to get involved in the run game. He likes to get involved in the trash. But I really think that if you're able to hone in that a little bit and start to get him to play a little bit more patient, then you have a potential starting safety or a starting defensive, I don't call him a weapon, but like a little bit of a Swiss Army knife on the third level.
Wyatt Milm from West Virginia, the Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year, played tackle for the most part. I think the idea here, Ryan, is Wyatt's going to move inside potentially to the left guard position. What was your thought on that selection?
I think it was one of the biggest values on day 2. I mean, before the Senior Bowl, he was being pegged, and I think he would have been drafted somewhere in the top 50 picks. So probably somewhere in the second round was probably where Wyatt was going to go. He had a bad Senior Bowl, and I think that had people kind of a little bit iffy on him just for the fact of, like you said, he did play left tackle at West Virginia. He's going to most likely move inside the guard because of the arm length and just kind of if you watch him play, he's a guard. Like, he was a guard that had played tackle and played it really well, but his skill set is just much better inside due to just kind of the foot quickness and length limitations that he does have out at tackle. But I really think that this kid's a starting guard in the NFL, and I think he's a good one. Like, he is he is a physical dude in the run game. He plays violently. He's got strong hands, and that experience as a pass protector at left tackle, I think, is only going to translate very well in more confined spaces, obviously. Like, he understands how to use hand play and different set points. So I think that he's a starting guard in the NFL, and I think he's a good one. And when I kind of looked at that at like pick 89 or whatever it was, that is one of the easier values, because Wyatt Milm, I think, is at least a solid starting offensive guard, but I think he could be a +1 before too long.
You know, we saw what Liam Cohen, Ryan, did last year with Bucky Irving in Tampa. The Jaguars draft 2 running backs, Tootin from Virginia Tech. They also went into the 7th round and took LaQuint Allen from Syracuse. Primarily with Tootin, the former Virginia Tech Hokie. Speed, right? One of the fastest running backs in the draft. What did you think about that Jaguar 4th round selection?
Well, I would say this is just both running backs. I think it gives you a clear indication that there might be some wide zone in the future, obviously, for the Jacksonville Jaguars, because both those kids are wide zone-ish style runners. They're kind of both one-cut guys, but they both bring different speed elements to the table. But I think Tootin especially, obviously, running 4.32 at the combine, he is one of those guys, when you give him a crease, he can take it the distance. He's incredibly explosive. Started his career out at North Carolina A&T and obviously had a tremendous final year at Virginia Tech. He's got a little bit of ball security issues, so I think that's one thing that you're just going to have to kind of keep close eye on, rein in a little bit. But in a wide zone system, I think he has a chance to be a good football player and a good part of a rotation for sure, and a guy that I think really kind of fits that elements very, very well.
Couple of more for Ryan Roberts, A to Z Sports.com. Ryan, as we begin to wrap up, a guy you know very well from your work with Notre Dame is Jack Kaiser. Now, of all the draft picks, I think maybe the biggest head scratcher might have been Jack Kaiser, not the player himself. Just what does that mean for potentially Devin Lloyd or Chad Muma on this Jaguar roster? What is your thought on Kaiser and what he brings to the table here in Jacksonville?
You're not going to get a better human than Jack Kaiser, first and foremost, and he's a very athletic linebacker. He ran 4.6 at the pro day, and he can move. He actually started his career out. He was a high school safety that transitioned to the rover position and then eventually moved into will linebacker this past year. So he's had some versatility. He's played a couple different spots. He plays incredibly well. It's hard, instinctive football. I mean, he's always around the ball. But I think more than anything, I would say in a vacuum, I think it was a slight overdraft. I don't know if I would say that Jack Kaiser is a top 110 football player in this class, but I think he just kind of checks a lot of boxes for you. At worst, at the very worst, he's going to be a dynamite special teamer because he played so much special teams in Notre Dame. So I think you're looking at worst, a really good special teamer, a core team guy who can also back up a couple different spots, and he's going to be a great addition to your room. You're not going to have any issues with that kid off the field as well. So just kind of all around, checks a lot of boxes, good athlete, plays a lot of special teams, and I think he'll be able to fit a room pretty well.
I think there's some intrigue about Jaylen Mloud out of Auburn. It looks like he's going to be an edge guy in the NFL. 8 sacks last year in the Southeastern Conference. That's nothing to sneeze at, no question. What was your thought on Mloud in round 6?
He's so unique because he started out at App State. He was a pure on-ball guy. And this past year, like you said, he rushed the passer a ton. But when you got to the Senior Bowl practices and stuff, they tried to move him to off-ball a little bit because he's just kind of an odd body type for the edge. Doesn't have long arms. He looks like a linebacker on the hoof. He doesn't look like a true pass rusher outside guy. But I do think that he, for me, is the perfect spot in the 6th round of a guy that's going to come in. He's going to be a designated pass rusher. I don't think he's going to be a base down player for Jacksonville, especially early on. I don't think he's going to have a home per se, but I do think if he's able to show an impact in the preseason, I would not be shocked if a guy like Mloud is a guy that is viewed as a little bit of a third down weapon, a guy that can rush the passer in a simplified role and play special teams. And that's what he did very well during his college career. So I think he had 22 and a half sacks, if I remember kind of looking at his box score during the course of his career. So he's been a productive pass rusher. He's not going to be an every down player, especially early on. He's not going to be a base player. But if you want him to be a third down pass rusher and a guy that can impact the quarterback, I think that he can play that role in the NFL for sure.
Ryan, as we wrap up, whether it's Lane, the safety from Navy, or Monheim, the offensive lineman from USC, any of those guys stand out to you in the Jaguar late round selections?
I actually like both those late round guys. I mean, Monheim played a lot of football for USC. He played center this past year. He's played inside a guard. He's played tackle. I mean, it just strikes me as a guy that might end up being just a solid swing player. I mean, I don't think he's a starter necessarily on the NFL level, but I do think as a backup swing interior guy, I think that there's some value there. But I actually really like Raywan Lane. I think that he is if he didn't go to Navy and have some of the restrictions on him from the just, preparation perspective, I think he may have gone even a little bit higher, man. He's a pretty instinctive kid. He plays with pretty solid range, kind of checks a lot of different boxes. So I'm really fascinated to see what he looks like, obviously away from the military school, when football is all he does on a day-to-day perspective. I think that kid could be a little bit of a surprise and be a core team special teams guy potentially for Jacksonville if he's able to find solid footing.
All right, Ryan, from a mile-high view, your thoughts overall on the draft class. How did you grade the Jaguars out? How do you think they did?
Yeah, I think it's a solid B draft right now with upside is kind of how I would phrase it. There were a couple spots like at the core conversation, Travis Hunter trade that is a lot to give up, and you lost a lot of capital obviously into the future with that pick. So there is a little bit of risk there ultimately. And then obviously I don't dislike a Caleb Ransall, but that being your second pick in this draft is kind of like I think there's just a couple guys that I probably would have preferred in a couple different spots, but I think it's B with upside because ultimately if Travis Hunter hits, you get a Tootin in a proper running scheme, and he's able to be a quality number 2 or potentially even a quality number 1 long term. I think there's a lot of upside to this group. I just do think that there obviously is still also a little bit of risk involved as well.
Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com. Ryan, I can't thank you enough. You've joined us, 5 or 6 times over the last weeks and months heading into the draft. You recapped it with us here tonight. Thank you as always, my friend. You've already turned the page to 2026. I'm sure we'll have you on many, many times before then. As always, thank you, pal. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
There you go, Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com. Ryan's also the college football guy at A2Z Sports, so we'll certainly get him on once college football season approaches. But I've had Ryan on for a long time. He is certainly one of my guys when it comes to the draft, and we thank him for the many times he has joined us here on Hacker After Dark in the last weeks and months. There is just an absolute beating going on in the NBA playoffs right now. If you're a Miami Heat fan, your team has quit on you, basically. They lost by 37 in Game 3 to Cleveland at home. They're down 3-0. They got to win to keep their season alive. It's halftime in Game 4. This is a Miami home game, mind you. The Cavaliers lead 72-33. 72-33 at the half. How embarrassing for the Miami Heat. Hey, the Magic are going to be eliminated tomorrow night. But at least we're trying. At least we gave an effort last night. Good grief. That is ridiculous. Cleveland leads Miami by, 39 points at halftime. We will keep you updated. If you missed the conversation on Friday night, I know a lot of you were probably watching the draft. Coach Campo and I were on here reacting to it in real time. We had the opportunity to go to the state of Georgia and talk to Travis Hunter's high school football coach, Drew Swick. We talked about Travis's time coming up as a freshman all the way through his senior year. We talked about his recruitment, what happened with Florida State, why Jackson State, the type of guy Travis Hunter is, what he can bring to the table. We know what Travis Hunter is like now. What was he like at 14, 15, 16, 17 years of age? Well, the guy that knows that is his old high school football coach. Drew Swick joins us next. Hacker After Dark on a Monday night here in Northeast Florida, and we're glad you're with us on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
There's an energy and drama to play-by-play sports.
This crowd, a big factor.
You never know what's going to happen. Wow! Feel the energy on 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power Charge that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Chargers sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
With the first pick in the 2025 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Duck Duck Rooter, the #1 plumbing, septic, and air conditioning contractor in Florida.
Congratulations, Duck Duck Rooter. So tell us, how does it feel to be picked #1?
Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you need help with any plumbing, septic, or AC issue, just give us a call and relax. We'll send one of our first-round draft picks to tackle your problems today. DuckDuckRooter.com. That's DuckDuckRooter.com.
She's seen and heard all over 1010XL's video and social channels.
Whether the big cats are at the bank or on the road, I'm there too. Follow my updates all season long, on air and online.
All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota.
Okay, sports fans, Hicken here. Let's talk skin. I and Beaches Dermatology are reminding you all to wear your sunscreen. Spring is here, and that means more time outside. Grabbing the clubs for your tea time? Bring the screen. Heading out on the boat? Bring the screen. Headed to the beach? Definitely bring the sunscreen. All in all, make sure sunscreen is included in your outdoor activities. If you have any concerns now, give Beaches Dermatology a call. I've been seeing them for years, and my skin thanks me for it. Call today online at beachesdermatology.com.
The aroma, flavor, the bliss. Nothing matches a great cigar, and now you can indulge yourself with My Father's Cigars. Come to Tobacco Cove on Saturday, May 3rd from 1 to 4 p.m. for an incredible cigar event featuring food, drinks, and specials on cigars. This is your chance to embrace the joy of My Father's Cigars at Tobacco Cove on Bay Meadows Road. More than a cigar store, it's an experience.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Hicken here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
E.T. here, and if you've ever been injured in an accident, visit my buddy Dr. McGowan at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. You have 14 days to see a doctor and protect your insurance benefits, even if you're at fault. And no matter what you hear, you have the right to choose your own doctor. So I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Their auto experts will guide you in every step of the way to ensure the care that you need. Your recovery starts with McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation.
It's game time for your business, and Advanced Business Solutions has the winning play. With Xerox copiers, you'll never miss a deadline. Fast, reliable, and built for high performance, Xerox copiers keep your team ahead of the competition. From printing to scanning, Xerox brings the MVPs of efficiency to your office. Ready to make the winning move? Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions. Veteran owned.
Printers, copiers, and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. One night ago, Travis Hunter became a Jacksonville Jaguar as the Jaguars trade up from 5 to 2 to get the Heisman Trophy, all-world wide receiver and defensive back from the University of Colorado. Long before Colorado and Jackson State, Travis Hunter went to high school just north of us in the state of Georgia, Collins Hill High School in the near the Atlanta area, and Drew Swick is the head coach now of that high school. He's an alum of that high school, and he coached Travis Hunter all 4 years at that high school, and Coach Swick joins us here on 1010XL. Coach, how you doing?
Good, Ryan. Thank you for having me on. Blessed to be here today.
Hey, Coach, thank you. Your emotions last night, a kid you knew in 8th and 9th grade, you've seen grow up to win the Heisman Trophy, and now you see him as a first-round pick in the NFL. That must have been a special night for you in that school.
Very special because the kid comes from a humble background. You know, he's one of the nicest kids and somebody that's going to do something for everybody else. He celebrates everybody's successes, you know, not just his own, but that's his ultimate goal is to help take care of everybody, including his family. And you know, got to see the kid come up as a 9th grader, you know, and then really become Travis Hunter his junior year. And then the rest was kind of history. And he made me look good along the way. So I'm happy about that. And, now Collins Hill is a household name. And I'm also blessed because Collins Hill is a special place.
Coach, take us through it. I mean, Travis Hunter is an all-world player. I mean, the Heisman Trophy winner speaks for that in and of itself, but you talk about potentially playing both ways in the NFL, wide receiver, DB. I mean, Travis played over 100 snaps a game at the University of Colorado playing for Deion Sanders. I mean, you knew this kid when he was 14, 15 years old. When did you know that you had something special there at Collins Hill with Travis Hunter?
Yeah, so when he first got there, I was the outside linebacker coach on the defense, and Coach Gregory was the head coach, Lenny Gregory. And, Dad called Coach Gregory and told us that he had a kid that was ready for varsity, and we hear that a lot. And we chuckled, but then when we got out to practice and he was shutting down our senior wide receivers, we were like, damn, this kid's legit. And he was a string bean back there. I mean, he's probably like 135 pounds soaking wet. Wasn't as tall, but as he kind of grew up, and then really his junior year is when he became Travis Hunter. I was able to take over as defense coordinator, and we ended up going to our school's first ever state championship appearance, and we ended up losing to Grayson because we were more concerned about the atmosphere while Grayson was locked in. They had been there, done that, and we ended up losing. But then the next year we go back, in 21, we played Milton, and they probably had one of the best teams they've ever had under Coach Ben Reeves over there. And, it was one of those things after 2020, everybody in the locker room was all on the same page. Wasn't a lot of crying or any, everybody was upset, but everybody had the same goal, the mindset when we left that locker room. And it was one of the greatest feelings ever because we set tons of records. You had Travis Hunter, do his thing. You had Sam Horn, Ethan Davis. You had a ton of dudes all around. And then a great coaching staff with the coach staff that had 4 or 5, head coaches or guys that had been head coaches before. So the experience, top to bottom was unmatched. And then you throw in our community, our Collins Hill community. And as well, when Collins Hill is going well, there's no better place. And, Travis has made that 10 times better with his, eclectic attitude and the things that he does on Friday nights.
Drew Swick is the head coach of Collins Hill up in the state of Georgia. He coached Travis Hunter all 4 years of Travis's high school career. Travis Hunter, the newest Jacksonville Jaguar, drafted last night, number 2 overall. We hear Travis Hunter is all about ball and fishing, Coach. Those are his hobbies. Those might be his only hobbies, football and fishing. Is he all ball? I mean, is that something that you can't overstate? I mean, is he all football?
He's all ball, but I mean, he is an introvert in a sense, but when he's got to get out in the public, he's the life of the room, the life of the party. And, he's just different. Like, he makes everybody around him better. And, on the football field, and I'm talking the corners, the field side corner, the outside linebacker star. We had him play safety his senior year so we could take away the entire field. We had him play field corner his junior year to take away half the field, and then we got smart and moved him to safety. But, he went down in game 8 in 2021 in Peachtree Ridge. He ended up, breaking his ankle. And, they told the kid he had like 8 weeks to recover, and he said, I'll be back for the semifinal game, and he ended up coming back for that. We played Grayson and ended up, beating them 49-0 at home, which was, a great feeling and something that we needed to do in order to go win the state championship that next year, because they had beaten us the year before like that. But, very different. But when he puts his mind, to a goal, or he has a goal in mind, he's going to do everything possible to get there and reach that. And it's all to make, his family, get his family out of where they've come from, make everybody around him, successful. And that's the best thing about the kid. He's not going to parties and doing all that. So yes, his fishing, that's one thing that he is, he's all about, fishing and Call of Duty. That's the two things that we were able to do together at Collins Hill.
What's interesting, you talk about Travis Hunter. I mean, the guy's obviously a leader. He's not a follower. I mean, a 5-star player. I'm sure you were right there with him in all that recruiting process when he was committed to Florida State. A lot of kids would have gone to Florida State, or if you decommit, you go to some other big-time school. He became, I believe at the time, the first 5-star that went to an HBCU in Jackson State to play for Deion Sanders, then followed Coach Prime out to Colorado. And now he is gung-ho on the fact of playing both ways in the NFL. He talked about it time and time again, both last night and today. I mean, what does that say about the character of a Travis Hunter?
There's not many young kids like that. When he went to Jackson State, it's just like any great athlete. They want to be coached by the GOAT. And, Deion Sanders was at Jacksonville State at the time. Florida State did a tremendous job. They were there all the time. They had the entire coach staff in 2020 at our state championship game and 21. And, I felt real bad for how that kind of went out. But, I mean, he was looking at it in the overall perspective. He wasn't looking at it as now. He's looking at it as, how can I help HBCUs? How can I help, the youth understand that you can get a great degree at HBCU and still be able to go play NFL and be successful. And the path that he chose was to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. He got to be coached by Deion Sanders, the GOAT, who basically, helped pave that path for him and showed him all the right moves to make in order to be the Heisman Trophy and then ultimately get drafted in the first round. But, Florida State was his dream school. And I think, he had a lot of people in his corner kind of telling him the right things to do, obviously. And, every move that he had made really did kind of, help him boost his status and really solidify his status in college and really right now in the NFL.
Coach, as we begin to wrap up, wide receiver, it looks like that's at least where he's going to start primarily, and they're going to sprinkle him in at defensive back as we get through OTAs, mini camp, and obviously into training camp in July. I mean, fans here are salivating at the idea of Trevor Lawrence throwing the ball to Brian Thomas Jr. on one side and Travis Hunter on the other side. How do you think Travis Hunter's game will coincide with that of Trevor's and BTJ's?
Yeah, they got studs on that offense right now, and they needed that. But like for him, he's going to play offense. He's going to have a long career being a receiver, but that doesn't mean he's not going to be able to come in on a 3rd and long and be able to come in and play nickel. He may be 80-20%, 80% offense, 20% defense. But, if that's something that he wants to do, he's going to find a way to do it. And that's just who he is. And I love that about him. But, the best thing for him is he's become the standard, and he's become that role model, that path for these young kids, throughout the world and our nation to kind of look at and model and how to carry themselves. So, couldn't have happened to a better person, but I'm super excited to watch him play. And I think he is going to play both sides of the ball, but he'll start off obviously receiver, and he'll get his time in there at defensive back, maybe in a 3rd and long, or, whatever they got to do in a nickel package, dime package.
You can't find anybody to say a negative thing about Travis Hunter. You obviously, Coach, know him better than most. What kind of guy is coming to the city of Jacksonville? We know the player that he is, but what is the community getting?
He's going to bring the juice every single day. And it may be, through the dance that he did last night. It may be with his smile, but he's also one of the funniest kids I've ever met and talked to as well. And he's just overall great kid. I mean, he's not doing anything that you got to worry about. And that's the best thing about him, and again, like I said, he makes everybody better around him. And, that smile is contagious. And, you saw it last night on national television, but once you get around him, you'll understand kind of what everybody talks about. But man, he can talk to you about anything. He's very easy to talk to, and he'll sit down and talk to you if, you got time. But, that's kind of who he is. If it's a little kid that wants to autograph, he's always going to take that time to do those little things like that, because it's not about him. It's really about, the overall game and the future of the game.
Have you had a chance to talk to him recently?
I talked to him yesterday. We're going to his wedding this summer. So Coach Fountain, and then Dr. Childs. Those are in Coach Walford, who's at GAC right now. But I'm excited to see him. I kind of let him do his thing. Right now he's very busy. He's got a lot going on. But I'm gonna end up being able to talk to him at the wedding, and then I got to text him last night. So super happy and proud for him.
Drew Swick, the head coach there up in the state of Georgia. He coached Travis Hunter for 4 years at the Travis Collins Hill High School there in Swanee. You guys are right outside of Atlanta, correct? Is that the location?
Yes, sir. Swanee, Georgia is kind of the old Falcons training facilities where our high school is located off the exit.
Yeah, so Travis coming back to the southeast, only about 350 miles or so away, now here in Jacksonville with the Jaguars. Coach, I know you're busy. Thank you so much for the time, pal. We'll talk again soon.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks for having me on.
And now details on the sudden announcement that has captured the attention of the entire world and the most fabulous prize one could wish for. A lifetime supply of
1010XL.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes here with a challenge. A challenge might not be the best choice in words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180. It sounds a little different when you put a real goal to it, doesn't it? Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the 4th? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the number 260 be a little nicer on your eyes and on your joints? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in 9 weeks. Hacker dropped his first 40 in just 6 weeks. Dempsey, Blue, and everyone else I know, same results. And we've kept it off. The best thing about Awaken 180 weight loss, it will completely change the way you think, see, and feel about food. The results are real, attainable, and the process simple with Awaken 180. Take the opportunity and drop 40 by the 4th. It all starts with just one call to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Jason, I don't see how a new air conditioner is going to work out for me.
Well, you like air conditioning, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. But a new air conditioner could be expensive.
Well, not if you...
to save up the money, I probably have to give up my extra hot skim latte every morning. Now I fall asleep during a staff meeting, get volunteered for the summer picnic committee, and end up sitting in the dunk tank all afternoon getting water up my nose.
Okay, look at it this way. Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing puts in a new AC. We hook you up with affordable financing, and you stay cool and comfortable for just $149 a month. Cool?
Cool. I see it now.
Life can be hard on your budget. If you suffer through the heat because of a broken AC you could totally afford to replace, you could visit.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Pizza to tea here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. Where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes through in the clutch? From lunch to late night, only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Stick around after the sunset, and Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Come on, somebody.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
Cannonball!
Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers. And drainage, too.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified and take 25% off all services. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them Hicken or 1010XL sent you.
Zero Res.
Interested in a unique date night?
Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Ackerman Urology has 4 convenient locations providing advanced urological care to improve men's health and sexual vitality. Don't suffer through prostate, bladder, or kidney issues. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
Baseball is back. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball at the newly renovated Vistar Ballpark is your home for affordable family fun. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game and kids round the bases after Sunday games. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets and details. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
Free Comic Book Day. Hey, I'm Ben Kay, owner of Gotham City Limit, your local comic shop, inviting you to the Community Party of the Year, Saturday, May 3rd. Free comics, free food, huge discounts, and more. Let's take Free Comic Book Day to the limit. Gotham City Limit.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us. Updating you, the NHL playoffs battle in the state of Florida. Panthers lead the Lightning 2-1 in the series. The Lightning lead Game 4 tonight, 2-1 in the third period, looking to even up that series at 2 games apiece. The home team has yet to win a game in that series. We'll keep you updated. And the Miami Heat are just absolutely getting destroyed. After losing Game 3 by 37, they're in a win-or-go-home scenario tonight, and ladies and gentlemen, they are going home. Cleveland is up 84-38 on Miami in the third quarter. That is a 46-point deficit for Miami. Yuck, as Cleveland's going to sweep them and advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals. Back into the Jaguar draft. You know, one of the most intriguing names, I think, was one of the late-round guys on Saturday, and that's Rayon Lane of Navy, the safety. You can't find a negative thing about this guy. I had a couple of people telling me that if he wasn't a member of a military academy, he might have been drafted maybe a round or 2 higher. That's how high people are on Lane. But intangibly rich is what James Gladstone's looking for. How much more intangibly rich can you get than being one of the defensive leaders at the Naval Academy? Let's talk about Rayon Lane, and let's do that with his head coach. I had the opportunity earlier on here on 1010XL to catch up with Brian Newberry, the head coach of the Naval Academy, and here is that conversation right now on Hacker After Dark.
Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, your home for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are glad you are with us. In this past weekend's NFL draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars went to the Naval Academy to draft Rayon Lane, a safety from Navy. Rayon's head coach, Brian Newberry, kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Coach, how we doing?
Doing great. Obviously super excited for Ray, and what an excellent choice you guys made.
Well, let's talk about him a little bit. Obviously, a lot of glowing things are coming out about Ray. We're learning more and more about him as the hours go on here. We'll talk about the person in a moment. Let's talk about the football player, Coach, the Jaguars are getting. And based on his highlight tape, it's a safety that certainly made a lot of plays for you guys.
Yeah, he did. Played a ton of games for us. I think 43 straight starts, to be exact. Was a huge asset for us on special teams. Obviously, a special talent that we don't see come through the Naval Academy too often. And just a guy that's gotten better every year. One of the most durable players I've been around. Just an exceptional athlete, an exceptional kid.
Rayon Lane was a 6th-round pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars this past weekend. His head coach at the Naval Academy is Brian Newberry, who's with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Is safety the correct position for him at the next level, Coach? Obviously, special teams contributor as well. You think he'll relish that opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't be a core 4 special teams guy, and obviously he got some versatility. The kind of athlete that he is. We played him at safety. We played him at what we call an adjuster, on third down some, which was a guy that could do a lot of different things. He certainly has the ability to play nickel. I think, that's one thing that's great about Ray is just the versatility. And I think the thing that maybe he's a little undervalued too is just how intelligent that he is. He, in regards to football, the young man is almost has a photographic memory. Like you're not going to beat him twice on something. Extremely fast learner, able to translate things onto the field, understands big picture, just a super smart, cerebral kid on top of the athleticism.
It's interesting, Coach, talking to a couple of draft analysts this morning since the draft took place this past weekend. When I bring up Ray, people always talk about, or at least a couple of guys that I talk about the fact that if he wasn't at the Naval Academy, he might have gone even a little higher in the draft with all the requirements of a Navy football player. That might scare some teams off or whatever verbiage you want to use. But this is a guy the Jaguars got in round 6 that might have gone even higher if he was outside the military.
Yeah, maybe so. But I think when you take a kid from the Naval Academy, and I think Ray maybe even more so, there's so much upside to Ray. I mean, he's, so many things about the academy. It's just a different place, right? And these players aren't in the football building all day long. They've got a legitimate class schedule. They're not in the training room multiple times a day. And so you take a kid here and you put him in an environment where all he's doing is football and he's a professional. There's so much room for growth and there's so much upside there, not to mention the things that they learn here at the Naval Academy and being a part of our program. The academies right now are unicorns in college football. You're going to get a kid that understands the value of team, which I think we're losing a little bit in the world of college athletics right now, and development, fighting through adversity, all the things that you learn here. It's football in its purest form, all things that you learn here at the academy. It's a world-class leadership school. So he knows how to work with the team. He knows it's always big team, little me, and whatever your role is, that's the one you embrace, and you pursue excellence in everything that you do. And so there's so much value that you get when you take a player from here for a lot of different reasons. But for an NFL team, just the upside, the intangibles, the leadership, the work ethic. He's elite in all of those things. And so when you get him full time, there's still some rawness to Ray on him. He was raw when we got him, and I think he's still raw. And so there's a lot of room to develop and take that with just his intelligence and his desire. I think you get a special young man I think is going to thrive in the NFL.
You said a key word there, intangibles. Jaguar General Manager James Gladstone has preached intangibly rich. Those are the kind of players he wants to bring here to Jacksonville. And you talk about somebody at the Naval Academy that starred for you as Ray did. I can't think of many more guys more intangibly rich than somebody that did that.
Yeah, no, I think in that regard, he's a perfect fit for what it sounds like you guys are looking for. No question.
As we begin to wrap up, Coach, obviously the city of Jacksonville, the Navy presence here is unbelievable. My stepfather was United States Navy. I have other family members that were in the Navy. There's a big Navy following here in Jacksonville, and I'm sure you appreciate that support and you understand what the city of Jacksonville and the Navy mean to each other.
Absolutely. He's going to have a lot of fans down there as well as up here for sure. And just super excited to watch his career and his development. And like I keep saying, just the upside for him is tremendous. And he's going to be a great asset there. There's no doubt about that.
Let's wrap up talking about your football program. How's the offseason gone for you up at the Naval Academy to this point, Coach?
Yeah, it's gone really well. I think you're coming off of a nice season. The seniors, including Ray, really righted the ship here and left a legacy behind that you can already see carrying on with these other players. And excited about the team. Feel really good about where we're at and the work that's been put in since January. Got a lot of good players back. Obviously losing a guy like Ray hurts, but we've got some nice pieces. But the just the work, how close this football team is, the daily pursuit of excellence is standard is really high, and so I'm excited about the future here.
Brian Newberry, the head coach of the Naval Academy, giving us some insight on Rayon Lane, who was the Jaguars' 6th-round pick in this past weekend's NFL draft. Coach, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Absolutely. You guys got a great one. Congratulations.
What are the many ways to experience 1010XL?
Why don't we just take it from the top?
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, at 1010XL.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
Catch Gators baseball all season long on 1010XL. Pitched by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators.
Mia here. I've got a question for you. Have you ever wondered why buy from Arlington Toyota? I'll tell you why. How about over 800 vehicles in one location? Or how about this reason why? 60-day exchange. That's 60 days to love your new purchase or exchange it. You even get Arlington's lifetime warranty with your new Toyota purchase. Why buy from Arlington? Because right now you can get financing as low as 0% on select new models. Shop in person on Atlantic Boulevard or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
If you'd like to help support domestic violence victims, you can get involved in the Par for a Purpose golf tournament, hosted by Micah's Place at the Golf Club of Amelia Island on June 20th. Register and learn more at micahsplace.org/golf.
The Tom Coughlin J Fund helps families battling childhood cancer, and there are ways you can help. Go to tcjfund.org.
If you're a dog lover who wants to help animals, our furry friends need exercise and time out of their kennels. You can make a difference in a dog's life at volunteer@jaxhumane.org.
Military veterans have always protected us, and in Jacksonville, thousands of our veterans suffer from mental wounds like PTSD. Now it's time to return the favor. Learn how you can help at woundedwarriorproject.org.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com. Get the best soccer talk on the First Coast on the Coaches Show, presented by Sporting Jacks. Cole Pepper, Sporting Jacks head of soccer Mark Warburg, and Sporting Jacks women's coach Stacey Bailey discuss the beautiful game Tuesday evenings at 6 on 1010 a.m.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple of years ago. When it's smooth as silk, Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to comp
complex engine repairs? AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is RJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at kuhnflowers.com.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us till 10 o'clock. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM. So what we've tried to do tonight, and we'll continue it, is to give you a little kind of glimpse at some of the new Jaguars, going to guys in their past. The Navy football coach, we certainly appreciate Coach Newberry on to talk about Rayon Lane. Obviously, Drew Swick, who coached Travis Hunter in high school. We had him on. Speaking of high school coaches, in the state of West Virginia, Coach Brad Dingus was the head coach of Wyatt Milm, the third-round pick, the offensive lineman of the West Virginia Mountaineers. So we will talk to Wyatt's high school coach coming up in about 15 minutes or so. We will also head out to Auburn. Jaylen Mloud, the sixth-round pick, a guy that got 8 sacks last year with the Auburn Tigers. Brent Bedsole is the NFL liaison for Auburn football out there on the plains. He's got a really unique perspective about Jaylen Mloud, who actually started his career at App State, transferred to Auburn the last couple of years, and had 13.5 sacks in an Auburn Tiger uniform. So we'll talk with Wyatt Milum's high school head coach. Brad Dingus coming up here in about 15 or 20 minutes. We'll then go out to the Plains to Auburn University, talk with Brent Bedsole of Auburn football about Jaylen Mloud. Before we get to all of that, a couple of thoughts, Jaguar-related and one non-Jaguar-related. Let me begin there. Boy, the Shedeur Sanders thing. Man, a lot of thoughts on that. There was a part of me, and I tweeted this out on Friday, and I almost felt bad about it after I sent it out. But once you hit that send button, you can never take it away. Has there ever been an NFL draft where the number one pick in the draft was as irrelevant as Cam Ward was on Thursday night? Now, some of that was the Travis Hunter trade happened literally as Cam Ward was walking to the stage to meet Roger Goodell. So some of it was actually, I guess, Jacksonville's fault, taking some luster away from Tennessee, which is never a bad thing. But the Shedeur Sanders stuff, good grief, man. Denmark, I like Mel Kiper. I always have. Some people find him arrogant. Some people don't like him. I've often been a guy that just likes Mel Kiper Jr., like his mock drafts. I kind of like a little arrogance to the guy. He's like the original draft guy, if you will, at least that they put on television. It was not a good look on Saturday for Mel Kiper. I don't know if he had stock invested in Shedeur Sanders. I don't know if there was an over-under money line or something that he had in Vegas. I don't know what it was. Maybe he's just buddies with Dion. But Mel Kiper, even his colleagues on ESPN, if you watch some of those interactions, there were some awkward moments at times there with Mel Kiper Jr. on Saturday.
Yeah, I was producing the Jaguar with Frangie during the draft on Thursday night, so I didn't listen to any of that. Then Friday night, I was out and about in St. Augustine, so I didn't listen to any, but the video surfaced on Saturday whenever it was him, Louis Riddick, and Reese Davis. And it was just so weird. It was almost like he was like trying to defend him to the nth degree for no reason. I guess to defend the point that he thought that this was the number one quarterback in his mind. And he just didn't want to be wrong about it when the NFL clearly showed you round after round after round that we're not going to take a pick on this guy if we don't think he's going to be a starter because we don't want to deal with the headache and have to deal with the headlines every day during camp. And, I mean, the Cleveland's going to get it, which is funny because they got Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round.
Yeah,
so
the Cleveland draft room looked very, very anticlimactic when they drafted Shedeur Sanders. You know what that was? That was Jimmy Haslam coming downstairs from his podium atop the Browns organization, walking into that war room and telling Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, draft Shedeur Sanders now. Not in an hour, not in 30 minutes. You trade up and you draft him now. I'm convinced of that. I'm convinced that came from ownership. Yeah, because you don't draft Dylan Gabriel in round 3 and then come back and take Shedeur Sanders in round 5 unless that is essentially an ultimatum from the owner saying do this. So I have no love lost for Shedeur Sanders. I have nothing against the kid personally, but I just thought Mel Kiper, that was ridiculous. Having said that, Denmark, I'm 41 years old. You're 26, right? There's a 15-year gap between us. On what planet is it funny to videotape yourself and post it to social media, prank calling an athlete like Shedeur Sanders and telling him that you're Mickey Loomis, the GM of the New York Jets, or the New Orleans Saints, rather? On what planet is that funny? Maybe I just don't have a sense of humor. It's cruel. It's far from funny. And you know who's not laughing right now? Is Jax Ulbrich, the son of the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator, who was dumb enough to videotape himself and his buddy doing this, post it to social media, and I bet the laughs they had on Friday, I bet have subsided greatly in the last 72 hours.
Oh, I'm sure. And I mean, a lot of it has to do with we're in this day and age where you post a video and it doesn't matter what the consequences are. You're popular for an hour or a day or a week, and you don't think about the ramifications that come from it.
Well, then that kid's an idiot.
Yeah.
Well, if he didn't think of the ramifications, those kids are morons. Because how they wouldn't know what people were going to think about that. And apparently it didn't only happen to Shedeur. It happened, I believe, to Tyler Warren as well.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw that on Twitter as well.
But so imagine that conversation with Jeff Ulbrich, the DC in Atlanta, former Jets coach, or interim coach last year, when he got that call from the National Football League saying, hey, Jeff, by the way, you know who prank called Shedeur? It was your son, who I guess got a hold of Shedeur's number because you and the Falcons had it because every NFL team had that phone number. I wonder what the family dinner was like that evening when Jeff Ulbrich told that or found that out that his kid did that. Again, I just don't think that's funny, man. And maybe I'm old guy here. You're young. Was that funny what they did?
We all think the same thing. Don't think this is nothing an age thing, man.
So stupid, man. It really pissed me off is what it did. Those kids are idiots for doing that. Just absolutely ridiculous. And I'm happy they're probably not laughing very much right now. I'm happy that they got kind of taken to task about that because that is far from funny. Having said that, one thing that is not funny, but it's an absolute sense of relief. It's a joyous occasion that the Jacksonville Jaguars actually have a general manager now that will get depth at the edge position. For some reason, Trent Baalke just decided for 2 off seasons in a row that he just wasn't going to draft edge guys, wasn't going to sign edge guys, and the only edge guy he brought in was a 30-year-old defensive tackle that he put on the edge in Eric Armstead because Trent Baalke was smarter than everybody else. Well, you see how that happened. The Jaguars had nothing as far as a pass rush behind Hines, Allen, and Walker. So bad that Roy Robertson-Harris still was 3rd on the team in sacks a month and a half after he got traded last year. Reasons like that are why Trent Baalke is no longer here. Last night, James Gladstone signed Emmanuel Ogbah, former Dolphin, who had 5 sacks last year. I don't know if Emmanuel Ogbah's got much left. What if he gives you 5 sacks again, 4 sacks, whatever? You know what? It would be better than what you've gotten the last 2 years since Arden Key left. You bring him in, you draft Jaylen Mloud. Now all of a sudden you might actually have a little bit of depth So Hines Allen and Walker may be able to go to the sideline and get a splash of water and rest for a play because they actually have somebody that can rush the quarterback other than them. Kudos to James Gladstone. Emmanuel Ogba's 31. I don't know realistically what you can expect from him, but at least he's something because Trent Baalke gave you nothing as far as edge depth the last 2 years. So I was thrilled to see James Gladstone was able to do that. Speaking of James Gladstone, they drafted Wyatt Milm out of West Virginia in round 3. A lot of people think he's going to start on the offensive line this year. Wyatt Milum's high school head coach in the state of West Virginia was Brad Dingus there in the state of West Virginia. We're going to talk to Coach about Wyatt Milum. He had him for all 4 years during his high school career. What kind of player is Wyatt Milum? What kind of person is Wyatt Milum? And does excessive blocking as a penalty really exist outside of Hollywood? You'll find all that out next. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Things you never hear Dan Hicken say.
I think you can make a little exception for me.
And why is that?
You don't know who I am?
Nope.
I'm Dan Hicken.
Baby!
Mornings on 1010XL.
What a mess.
Attention business owners and property managers. Hurricane season is right around the corner. Is your property ready? Call the pros at Duck Duck Rooter for expert storm drain cleaning and hydrojetting. Our powerful VACCON truck clears the way so your drains flow freely when the rain hits. Call 904-862-6769 today to schedule your service and protect your property before the storms start rolling in. Duck Duck Rooter, your trusted name in storm drain maintenance. Visit us at duckduckrooter.com. We are a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes here with a challenge. A challenge might not be the best choice in words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with a Awaken 180. It sounds a little different when you put a real goal to it, doesn't it? Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the 4th? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the number 260 be a little nicer on your eyes and on your joints? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in 9 weeks. Hacker dropped his first 40 in just 6 weeks. Dempsey, Blue, and everyone else I know, same results. And we've kept it off. The best thing about Awaken 180 weight loss, it will completely change the way you think, see, and feel about food. The results are real, attainable, and the process simple with Awaken 180. Take the opportunity and drop 40 by the 4th. It all starts with just one call to Awaken 180 weight loss. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
I'm Karen, owner of Clay Solar Installation Partners, your local woman-owned solar company. Did you hear? JEA is raising rates again. With summer right around the corner, those power bills are only going to go up. But with solar, you can take control of energy costs and say goodbye to rising rates. At Clay Solar, we make switching easy and affordable. Stop paying more for power and own it. Visit claysolar.com to schedule a consultation today.
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
He used to cover the Jags. Now he's a CBS Sports senior NFL writer.
Well, I believe he's got everybody's attention.
He's Pete Prisco. Friday afternoons on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
Hey, Jacksonville. Don from Taco Lou here. Spring has sprung, the temps are rising, and the summer is on the way. In our world, that can only mean one thing. Cinco is coming. Yes, today everyone gets their taco fix and margarita fix. It could possibly be the best Monday of the year this year. If you're sitting at your desk on a Monday thinking no tacos for me, well, think again. We wouldn't let a big day like Cinco de Mayo slip by just because it's a Monday. Skip work or get the day off. But come and celebrate with us at Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach. Maybe take Tuesday off. Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
Yo, 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 it's your boy E to the T here, and I know that getting into an accident is stressful, but getting the proper care doesn't have to be. That's why I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. Even if you're at fault, your insurance covers you. And remember, you have the right to choose your own doctor. Even a minor accident can cause whiplash for years if it goes untreated. So don't wait. Call the auto accident experts at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Your recovery starts today.
Is your office productivity running at full speed? Advanced Business Solutions has the solution with Xerox copiers. Whether you need high volume printing, scanning, or secure document management, Xerox copiers deliver efficiency, quality, and innovation. With features like cloud integration and mobile printing, Xerox is perfect for any modern office. Let ABS help you streamline your workflow. Veteran-owned Advanced Business Solutions.
Advanced Business Solutions.
How many schools are there in the Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC, and the Pac-12?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
There are 16 teams in the Big 12, 18 in the Big 10, 16 in the SEC, but only 2 teams remain in the Pac-12.
Beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet cleaner. You'll get 25% off all cleaning services. That's right, 25% off. Check out 8,000 raving customer reviews if you don't believe me online. Call them, 904-287-5727, or visit their website, ZeroResJacksonville.com. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, your home for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are glad you are with us. The NFL Draft in the rearview mirror. Of course, Travis Hunter, the big story coming to Jacksonville. Maybe behind Travis is Wyatt Milm, the big offensive lineman from West Virginia. The Jaguars took him in round number 3. There were a lot of people that are pretty excited about Wyatt Milm coming to Jacksonville. Let's find out about the big West Virginia offensive lineman from a man that coached him during his high school career. Head coach Brad Dingus of Spring Valley High School there in the state of West Virginia, kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Coach, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Coach, we're good. Thank you for the time, and take us back to Friday when you see your guy, Wyatt Milm, getting drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Your emotions as his former high school coach.
That's something that you don't really expect, especially from our state. I mean, we normally don't have those type of kids that come in. And but you could tell he was pretty special at a younger age, and just sitting there with him in his living room. He's a very humble kid. He didn't have all the hoopla that some of the other people had. He just had his closest people there, but just the smile on his face and just to see the reaction, it just kind of brought a full circle that a kid dreams about his whole life, and it was pretty awesome.
To that point, I mean, you obviously had Wyatt when he was, 14, 15, 16. I mean, you knew him and had him from a very young age. When did you know on the football field that this kid was something special?
You could really tell. I mean, his freshman year, he was more built like a tight end. He had some length, but he didn't have a whole lot of weight to him yet. But really that jump between the sophomore and junior year, he started, seeing the rewards of the weight room and just how he was dominating people, and it just looked like he was just a man amongst boys. We knew that not only was he going to be a Power 5 guy, but somebody that was really going to excel at that level.
Brad Dingus was the head coach of Wyatt Milm there in the state of West Virginia during Wyatt's high school career, and Brad joins us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. One of the best sound bites, and I'm paraphrasing here, but if you were at the house on Friday night, you probably have seen it already, when Wyatt was talking to the Jacksonville media here and basically said, I'm paraphrasing, but he essentially said that he's not going to allow anybody to touch Trevor Lawrence. I mean, you want to talk about what you want to hear from a fan base, from an offensive lineman. Wyatt's already earned a lot of fans just by that statement alone. Coach, he seems like a kid that really takes pride in protecting his quarterback.
Yeah, he will do whatever he can to get the job done. That's what has made him great through the years coming up. He takes pride in his craft. He will work his tail end off. He's a very blue collar guy that just shows up to work every day, and he will die trying to do what he tells you he's going to do. And I mean, if you look at his track record and all that, I don't think he gave up a sack after his freshman year, his true freshman year in college. So, and he went up against some dudes. I mean, there was you look at the schedule WU played. There's a lot of guys that he blocked that kept off the quarterback there in Morgantown that are playing in the league right now. So, yeah, like he said, he's going to do what he's supposed to do.
You know, you look at some of the scouting reports about Wyatt from some of the draft analysts and the pre-draft, you see words like powerful, tough, physical. I even saw the word nasty in there a couple of times, just, again, what you like to see from an offensive lineman. How would you describe his game?
I know when he played for me, we didn't have a whole lot of skill kids. We weren't spreading it out much. We were a wing T type football team that played in there tight, and we were a gap scheme program that there was a lot of blocking down. And I've not had a kid since him get I don't even know if this is a real call or not, but he got a couple excessive blockings where he would take the guy. He played right tackle for me, but he would have taken him all the way across the field and pancaked him.
That sounds like the movie The Blind Side with Michael Oher. Didn't they have one of those in that movie?
Yes, it was similar to that several times. So, I mean, he was, state lineman of the year, all that stuff with us. But he's just a dominant player, and the best thing about him is he's probably a better human being. You're not going to find more of a humble type kid than him, and he's great in the locker room, a great leader. You have something special when your best player is your best practice player, and that's what he was.
As his head coach, when he got excessive blocking, I guess it's hard to be mad at the kid, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was, you just kind of shrug your shoulders, and, I mean, you don't want to tell him not to do that. So, we'll take the penalty and move on, but you look back at it now and you laugh about it. I was probably mad when it happened, but not at him. But you don't see too many of those.
Final moments with Brad Dingus, the high school head football coach of Wyatt Milm, who the Jaguars spent a third-round pick on in this past weekend's NFL draft. Coach, the talk here in Jacksonville is potentially guard, potentially left guard for Wyatt. He played primarily tackle at West Virginia. Do you think he has the skills to move inside and play offensive guard?
Yeah, I do. I honestly, I think he could play anywhere on the line of scrimmage. And, the left side's a little bit more natural to him. He's left-handed. So I see no issues with him moving down. I think he'll be great at it. He's a war daddy. He's going to go after it, and you could give him any job, and he will do it to the best of his capability at all times. So he's going to I have no worries about him wherever they decide to put him.
Coach, as we begin to wrap up, you alluded to this a little earlier. We know the type of player that we're getting here in Jacksonville. What about the person, the community? What is the city of Jacksonville getting with Wyatt Milm?
Just a great community guy. I mean, he's going to put himself out there and be involved. He's great with kids, any kind of projects. Here he was loved by us and our community. I mean, you ought to see all the signs and stuff on the businesses and restaurants in our little town here. But if you go back and you could search him up at Morgantown, where he was at WVU, he was involved in a lot of things, community projects. He was always out. He was the face of that program the last couple of years, him and Zach Frazier. So he's going to be very involved, and the community's going to see a lot of him.
Coach, final question. The town there, when you get a young man from that town drafted into the National Football League, you mentioned the signs and everybody. I mean, that had to be some feeling on Friday night, not only for Wyatt and his family and friends, but really for that entire community.
Yeah, this is Wyatt is the first young man ever drafted in the NFL draft from our county here. So it was very exciting. I mean, he was a celebrity anyway. Probably run for mayor with no issues, but everybody's just excited for him. I mean, he's such a great kid. Comes from a great family that's very well thought of in the community, and just an outstanding human being. And it's just great for our community, our program, our school, and the state of West Virginia.
Brad Dingus was the high school head football coach of Wyatt Milm there at Spring Valley in the state of West Virginia. Coach, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate you. We'll say hello to Wyatt when we get to meet him later this week.
All righty. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, your home for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are glad you are with us. This past weekend in the NFL Draft, the Jaguars went out to Auburn and got Jaylen Mloud, a man that had 8 sacks last year in the Southeastern Conference for War Eagle. Let's talk a little bit about Jaylen Mloud. Let's head out to Auburn right now. Brent Bedsole is the NFL liaison for Auburn football, and Brent's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Brent, how we doing?
Doing great, Ryan. Thank you for having us, and thank you for Jaylen Mloud landing with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, let's talk about Jaylen a little bit. Obviously, 8 sacks. We know he was a transfer in to Auburn to finish his college career. Was pretty productive, basically, for the entirety of his college career. Brent, what are the Jaguars getting with Jaylen Mloud?
Well, you're getting a very hard worker, a guy that was not afraid to put in the work, and is self-motivated kid. A young man, I should say. He's not a kid any longer. He came here as a guy that we thought could help us off the edge, and he came in and answered that bell pretty easily. Jaylen is not a no-nonsense guy, hard worker guy. Not going to be a lot of personality there with him. Is a hard work guy. So Jaylen is exactly what you guys probably need playing in that defense coming off the edge. And they've tried to play him in the box a little bit during the Senior Bowl, which he'd never done before. And I thought he took to that like a duck to water. Did a really good job there during the Senior Bowl time. It was impressive.
You know, the new general manager here in Jacksonville, James Gladstone, has used the term intangibly rich, wants to bring intangibly rich players to Jacksonville. And talking to other people around Jaylen Mloud, it sounds like that's exactly what Jacksonville's getting, a guy with all sorts of intangibles.
Yeah, he does. You know, some guys look at him and go, well, he's kind of undersized to be an edge guy, but not in a 3-4 type defense. He's more of a come off the edge, stand up two stance guy. Also very, very intangible in the special teams area. Very good intangibles there. He can play a lot of special teams for you in different positions. So I think he's a guy that's going to be a guy that you'll see a lot on special teams. That's probably where he'll make the team. And then you turn around and put him in there as your fourth, fifth linebacker during a game. I think he'll be able to handle that. So intangibles is a great way to talk about Jaylen Mloud.
Couple more for Brent Bedsole, the NFL liaison for the Auburn Tigers, talking about Jaylen Mloud, who the Jaguars drafted in this past weekend's NFL draft. You know, Brent, obviously with Joshua Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker here, the Jaguars just signed Emmanuel Ogbah. Jaylen's going to be some depth at edge, but that's some depth the Jaguars have sorely needed. There was quite a few years here where Joshua Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker basically had little to no help behind them. Now all of a sudden you had a veteran like Agba, you bring in a rookie like McLeod. If McLeod's asked to just simply go get the quarterback to give Hines Allen and Walker some rest, that seems like something that he's primed to do as a rookie.
Yeah, with 22 and a half career sacks, he's done that a lot, and that speaks volumes of the speed. His quickness his first step coming off the line is incredible. Jaylen brings with him, that's because of his work ethic, but he also brings with him the intangibles. He's got longer arms. His arms are long for a guy that's 6'1". He ended up 80-inch arms. Wingspan, which is a good wingspan for a guy his size. So Jaylen packs a lot of punch into a smaller frame, but the NFL guys I talked to all year long about him loved his work ethic, loved his personality. He's going to be great for the community. He's going to be great for the locker room. He's just got a lot of intangibles, as you said, Ryan.
As we begin to wrap up, we've talked about Jaylen the player. What about Jaylen the person? You mentioned great for the community. What type of guy is coming to Jacksonville?
So Jaylen as a person is a guy that will get out in the community, and he's a giver, not a taker. He loves to give, big smile, personality plus as far as the way he treats people. A lot of the people in this area, he's gone out and done a lot of things. A lot of people in this area of Auburn come back and talk about Jaylen Mloud and the way that he has infiltrated himself into the schools here, into the going by the hospital and seeing patients at the hospital. I mean, he's just got a lot of those personality traits that are very positive for a team looking to bring in a young man that is going to be a good player, but also good for the community and good for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And you mentioned the Senior Bowl, and that's something I wanted to bring up with you as we begin to wrap up as well. The fact that he was asked to do something else at the Senior Bowl that he wasn't really accustomed to, and he did it. No complaining, no anything, and that goes back to the intangibles, right? And there's some tweener characteristics for Jaylen. Can he be an edge backer? Can he be, off ball, as you mentioned? So he does have some flexibility potentially.
Yeah, I think it speaks to his football intelligence because that's hard to do. It doesn't seem like it, Ryan, when you move from outside backer and jump inside of a box, but you're doing totally different reads. On the outside, you're reading the edge hip of the tackle, and there's only a one-way read there. You get into the box, now you're reading the guards to the running back. So there's a two-way read there that's gonna make you have to see things quicker. And as fast as things happen in the league, he's gonna have to see that quicker. And I think that's the transition they're gonna try to see him make. He possibly could be a guy that comes off the edge, but then maybe in certain down situations you move him into that. Say you get into a nickel or dime package where you take a linebacker off the field. He's fast enough and he's twitchy enough to go in there to the middle linebacker's position and possibly play there for a little bit to give some guys some rest.
And Brett, final question. You mentioned 8 sacks in the Southeastern Conference. Look, that's no joke. I mean, whether, I'm biased, you're biased, we're biased, whatever, the SEC clearly is the best conference in college football. And if you come in and in 1 year's time as a grad transfer, you get 8 sacks, you make your presence felt, that had to open some eyes out there.
Well, he got 8 sacks in 2024, but in 2023, his first year here, he had 5.5 sacks. So 13.5 sacks overall in his 2 years here at Auburn, not counting the fact that he had 9 sacks while he was at Appalachian State. So very productive player, and a player that I hope the Jacksonville Jaguars will use and keep around so that he can show what he can do for you guys, and y'all can fall in love with Jaylen like we did here at Auburn.
Brent Bedsole, the NFL liaison for the Auburn Tigers, talking about Jaylen Mloud, who the Jaguars used a 6th-round pick on in this past weekend's NFL draft. Brent, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. Thank you for sharing some insight on Jaylen Mloud. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Take care, Ryan, and War Eagle.
And thank you to Brent Bedsole of Auburn football for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Brent is the NFL liaison for the Auburn Tigers out there on the plains as the Jaguars went out to Auburn and drafted Jaylen Mloud in round number 6. Jaylen Mloud, 13.5 sacks at Auburn over the last 2 years, including 8 sacks last year. Look, I don't care who you are, man, or where you get drafted. If you have 8 sacks in the Southeastern Conference, you're doing some things, and the edge position here in Jacksonville should now be pretty interesting. You knew you had Joshua Hines Allen. You knew you had Trayvon Walker. You draft Jaylen Mloud out of Auburn. You got Emmanuel Agboa from Miami in free agency over the past weekend, Emmanuel Agba. So the bottom line is with Agba, with Hines Allen, with Walker, and I guess you throw in McLeod, Miles Cole as well. You got to see what you get out of him in year number 2. All of a sudden, there's a little bit of depth at the edge position here in Jacksonville, and we haven't been able to say that in a long time. Well, that will just about do it, man. It has been a very, very busy Monday night edition of Hacker After Dark, as you can expect, the night or the day after the NFL draft, at least the first time we're on after the NFL draft. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Brent Bedsole, the NFL liaison for Auburn football, for joining us tonight. Thank you to Brian Newberry, who is the head coach at the Naval Academy. Navy, the Jacksonville Jaguars, went into the Naval Academy in round number 6. Got Rayon Lane, the safety. We had Coach Newberry of Navy on earlier tonight, and certainly appreciate Coach taking time out with us to give a little insight into Rayon Lane. Speaking of coaches, Brad Dingus was the high school head coach in the state of West Virginia of Wyatt Milm, the Jaguars' third-round pick on the offensive line from West Virginia. We certainly appreciate his high school coach for joining us tonight to, again, give a little insight on Wyatt and the type of offensive lineman the Jaguars acquired in round number 3. I think after Travis Hunter, probably the next person of the draft class that people are most intrigued by or excited by would be Wyatt Milm, and we certainly appreciate his high school head coach, Brad Dingus, for joining us tonight. And back in hour number 1, my buddy Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com. Always enjoy the conversation with Ryan. He's been great to us for years. We had him a bunch leading up to the draft. We had him on tonight to review the draft. He's very busy doing a lot of these radio hits, I'm sure, around the country. So we certainly thank Ryan for taking time out for us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Now, we will be back tomorrow night on a Tuesday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Denmark, great job as always. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Monday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark, on 1010XL, and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Monday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night on a Tuesday beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
Grilling stuff.
3 double cheeseburgers with everything.
Fixing stuff.
Let's go to work.
Drinking stuff.
You know a lot about beer. He knows a lot about everything.
1010XL's Man's Man.
Bring it, baby.
Joe Coward. Weekdays 2 to 4 on 1010XL.
I'm Liz Greeby, the Jacksonville Business Journal's events director, and on May 15th, we're shining a spotlight on young professionals who are boldly leading the way in business and making our major impact in our community. I'd love for you to join us for our 40 Under 40 Awards as we celebrate these up-and-comers and their achievements. Don't miss this inspiring afternoon of networking and celebration. Tickets are going fast. You have to get them before May 6th. And for more information and tickets, visit jbjevents.com.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines